Hello and welcome to Elseworlds, a DC fan podcast. My name is Jordan, and with me, as always, is Chris. How are you, today, Chris?
I am doing super welling.
Super well, I think is what you mean to say. Tom Welling is in the show. We're talking Smallville season 4, which Chris hinted at last time being his favorite season.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so we're gonna dive in here to this season. I'll kind of let you take the reins on where you want to start. What's top of mind when we get
Uh,
to season 4? What makes it your favorite?
all right. So first off, you start out right from the get go. You get Lois Lane, and Lois Lane is awesome, witty, got that like kind of playful banter of Clark. They kind of act like they don't like each other. It's awesome. I love every bit of that. You get a lot of great Lex Luthor episodes. If your Lex Luthor kind of steals the show a lot of the times, Michael Rosenbaum just on another level on this, and I just thought the intensity really picked up. Like there was it. So season three, we talked about how like the red K start, and you're like it was really heavy, but then returned to form. This was like a blend of like serious and like Smallville uh on the farm stuff. I really enjoyed it. I will give you a tease. We're not going to go through the top 10, but I will tell you that 4 episodes from season 4 made the top 10. So that's pretty cool. Lois, Lex, and the increased uh increased curiosity with Krypton and Kal-El and Clark and all of that good stuff. Near the end of this season, with the finale commencement, you're just like, oh my goodness, we are there, guys. This is a Superman show now. I mean, not that it wasn't, but it really off the walls. Love it, love it, love it.
Yeah, we got Lois Lane, played by Erica Durance, on the show. Um, we got everybody's favorite Batman, Jensen Ackles, on the show. We even got Margot Kidder from Superman the movie. She appeared as Dr. Swan's assistant or emissary, Bridget Crosby, for a little bit. We got introduced to Sam Lane, played by Michael Ironside. Yeah, I mean, we've got quite the hefty cast here. We've got. Let's dive into it with Run. We get introduced to Bart Allen,
Yes.
one of our favorite characters, Flash. From what I read, they had to go with Bart Allen because they wouldn't let them use Barry Allen, I believe. So that might be why. But they give some nice references when they find his licenses, right? Like it lists
Yeah,
like every Flash alias
it's pretty
known.
good. It's
I
it's
just
pretty good.
rewatched this one probably a couple weeks ago, and uh, I really enjoy it. This one was written by Stephen Eston Knight. He writes a lot of really great episodes of the show, and then he was the showrunner for Daredevil season 1. So he's got quite the history with superhero characters and these shows. But yeah, so what you think of Kyle Gallner as Bart Allen and seeing for the first time here our first other superpowered hero of the future?
I absolutely loved it. I knew. Okay, so I knew from the get go. I was like, okay, this we're gonna get Flash. This is how we're gonna get him in the show. It is what it is. But it was fun. I've never really seen a pickpocket Flash before. That was an interesting take. I It makes sense. It also kind of reinforces the idea that not everyone has a Martha and a Jonathan. I I think that's an important note. I like that Clark was trying to help him, but also was like, dude, we can't just keep doing this. Uh, and I love the scene where he's like chasing him back to the farm, and Bart beats him there by a lot, and that's never happened to Clark ever.
Yeah,
So,
like when he gets home and he's like, "Dad, I found the guy that pickpocket your stuff," and he's like, "Yeah, he's right here," and like he's already got his feet up on the table, drinking something, and like,
uh,
so yeah.
I actually thought the Kents were a little too welcoming of him. I think the Kents are a little too welcoming of everybody. Um, it kind of makes the show work because like the Lois thing really doesn't make that much sense unless you make it make sense. Like it's just like,
Hmm.
yeah, sure, you can stay here, person we just met. Uh, but uh, it's uh, it's really cool. I like Bart on the show, and I do we see him again?
Yes,
Good. I like that. I was like, I left this thinking I need more Flash in this with Superman. This is cool.
I think just one more time, but you will see him again.
Okay, that's how this show does it. They like, hey, remember that thing? We'll do
Hmm.
it again, and then it's done.
I'll say the episode you see him in again is consistently put as one of the best episodes of the show and one of the like defining moments of superheroes on television before the Arrowverse. So,
Okay, okay.
um, yeah,
Uh, I'm
that's
looking
next
forward to
season
that.
for you, season 6.
6. Okay.
Because you're, like, I know people are like, well, you're in season 4. We finished season 4. He's already in season 5. So, in the next season for him is season 6,
Yeah, I am. I just reached the halfway point
episode
of
100 is what you just
season.
saw. Yes,
Yeah,
that's why they did what they did in that episode. That was
it
episode
was a
100.
big one. It was a big one. We
Yes.
will talk about that when the time comes.
Yes. We also got Mr. Mixpidalic, right?
I loved that.
Decal Mixpidalic.
Okay, so one of my favorite scenes of the whole show is when he throws the pass and he enters flash time, which we're not calling it flash time, but that's exactly what he
Yes,
did.
yeah.
He enters flash time where everything stops, saves Chloe, scores the touchdown anyway. And,
Hmm.
I really enjoyed that because I love football and it was like really like dramatic and like, oh, okay. And then Chloe, is one of my favorite characters of the show. And Mr. Mix McPidlick is really good. I actually love the line. Let me guess, you want to buy a vowel? I thought that was great.
Yeah, yeah.
But I just love that episode. He's one of my favorite Superman villains. Actually, one of my favorite Superman stories is in the Superman Batman run that Jeff Loeb did. He converged Superman and Batman together. And so they were half body Batman, half body Superman.
Hmm.
And Superman's first words are, "Why is it so dark in here?" Which is just a really funny little tidbit. But yeah, I love that episode. Absolutely love it. Actually, I'm
how,
surprised it's not on my top 10 now that I think about it.
how about the episode Transference, where we get Clark and Lionel switching bodies, and we get to have again Tom Welling
Yeah.
play. He did a really good job playing John Glover's Lionel, I think.
This isn't in my top 10 either. And to be honest with you, I think I already just put 4 in there and I said, okay, that's
That's
enough
enough.
season 4. Like, I didn't feel
Yeah,
fair to
yeah,
the other seasons. I think they just picked up the pace that's so big in this season. But
yeah.
um, oh my God, Lionel as Clark was interesting. I actually think it was really funny with the heat vision because we know what that means when he's with Martha. It's like, oh, Lionel
Yes.
has the hots for
Yeah.
Martha. Like that was a really funny way of doing that. I thought it was really clever. Lionel's like, ooh, cool. Why would I ever transfer back? This is great. I uh, I love how you know Lionel didn't really get all the answers at the end of it, like the end process. Like you were thinking, oh God, this is going to have a disastrous consequence for the whole show, and then it had that convenient amnesia stuff. But I really enjoyed it, and I thought Clark was really interesting as Lionel. It was like, and he's like, "Mom, it's me," and uh, he tells a story. Funny, we were just talking about running into the other town. He tells a story about how when he first got his speed, he just kept running and he didn't know how to stop, and they had to come get him. And Martha was like, "Oh God, it is you." And I love how the Kents have been through so much; they can just get to that point where it's like, "Yeah, okay, it's another day. It's a day that ends in Y."
Yes.
I enjoyed that episode. It was good.
um Okay, I want to know your thoughts on the whole witch storyline with
Not my
Lana.
favorite part.
Yeah, this is what a lot of people do not like season 4.
Hmm.
It's because of this storyline with like the crystals or with the
Yeah,
spells and
it's not my favorite part. I, I got to be honest with you. I do not love Lana in general. Like Lana is just she, Lana seems a little stuck up to me. It's like she's always mad at people for not being honest. But what are you giving to like? What are you putting out there other than you're Lana? Like it's very annoying to me. Like it's just really annoying to me. She can do no wrong as far as Clark is concerned, and I don't think she's that kind to Clark. So it like the witch storyline was like, oh cool, we see an evil Lana where she's really bitchy and like manipulative. Well, it's not that big of a stretch for me. Lana, I don't want to say is a bad character or a malevolent character, but it wasn't like she had this. When you get the red episodes, the red kryptonite, Clark is just like a completely different actor, and she was just like a little more sadistic version of Lana. I like that Clark liked it. I thought that was funny. Like Clark is like, oh, this is kind of sexy.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I didn't love the story. I thought it was like I think they needed something to connect Lana from Paris to here and the
Yeah.
caves, and this seemed like a strayed connection. It seemed, and the Jason thing seemed like another. He was all over the map in this season. He was guy met in Paris. Then her mother is this rich person who was like the equivalent of a Luther, and then he's like this Jason Bourne character out of nowhere after he was just a high school football coach. Like trying to get away with dating one of the students. It was a weird thing. I didn't like Jason's character. I didn't like this whole storyline. Um, it's the only thing that really brings it down for me. Like,
Yeah.
and it doesn't bring it down that much. Like, it's still fun, but it's not the meat and potatoes for me. If it's anything, it's the carrots on the side.
Yeah, it is a I feel like they didn't know what to do with Jason. I think he was originally supposed to be just like another obstacle for Clark, but then when they introduced his mom and
Hmm.
then they wanted to tie it, and when I think they realized they didn't know what to do with him, so they made him like do this heel turn at the very end of the season.
Well, it was so jagged and out of nowhere. It was
Yeah,
like
it was, yeah.
so the things I loved about this season, Lois, Chloe figuring things out and then kind of not telling him, but like kind of felt like hinting that she knew. You know, actually, I thought it was really cool that that second episode where they're like getting chased by the helicopters and they figure out that Chloe's alive.
Oh
That's
yeah, we
pretty
didn't even
cool.
talk about that cliffhanger last time, but yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, it all meshes together, but yeah, there's so much I love about the season. The witches stuff, just
Yeah.
it wasn't it. I did actually enjoy the trip where they went to China, and you had the kryptonite. That was interesting.
And we learned that there was like other Kryptonians that came there and hid that stuff or something. Yeah, with the
Yeah,
crystals.
yeah, that was cool. It was an important storyline. It's only important because it was shoehorned in there.
Yeah.
All the other stuff was working like so. What I would say is all the other stuff in the season I felt like was a 10 out of 10, and that was
Hmm.
like a 7 or a 6 out of 10.
How about the return of Alicia Baker then? In
Loved it.
Unsafe and Pariah, like you said, she gets this is where she'll show Chloe, right?
Hmm.
She has Clark save the car in front of Chloe and her. Um, Now she gets released from Belle Reve, uh, finds out like it's her doctor that does it, and he's kind of like a creep, right? A lot of weird stuff going on with that, but she wants Clark to love her, take her. She slips him Red K so he will
And the
uh,
saddest part is she probably could have
marry.
gotten it without it.
Right, right.
You know, so the doctor was forcing her to get away. That was the entire
Yes.
purpose for it. If the doctor wasn't a creeper, then she probably would have. She might have ended up being happily ever after with Clark. Let's be honest. I mean, they could have figured that out. Clark loved her. Like Clark really connected
Hmm.
with her. So, you know, I think Clark felt like himself with her, and that was very important. So, I I thought that was some of the best we've gotten. I thought that
Yeah, because
was.
then she dies, and it's tough.
I mean, I
But
have Pariah in my top 10. So just teaser.
yeah, yeah, it's a good episode. And then, like you said earlier, Chloe figures it out due to this, right? She gets shown this in that episode, so now we kind of have that thread. Now that Pete's gone, we're getting another friend to find out the secret at
Yeah,
this point.
and I also like it was very Superman when she dies. He was so mad at himself.
Yes.
And that is such a Superman emotion of I can't save them all. It's my fault. I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have done that. And I could have just gone and admitted my secret, and she would have been alive. And she would have been. It's Clark's secret. This is why I got to a point somewhere in season 5, I will say, where I'm just tell everybody. I was getting so frustrated. I'm like, it's causing you nothing but pain. Everyone is in danger every episode anyway. Just tell everybody. But Clark's secret's cost was very, very evident in that episode.
Yeah, man, this one does have a lot of good episodes. You have Recruit, where he is getting recruited to Metropolis U,
Hmm.
and their star player Jeff Johns
Yeah, I noticed
uh
that too.
is you know is the bad guy of the episode, right? He has
Right, yeah.
superpowers, uses them to paralyze people, but Lois is like arrested for a murder of one of the
No,
players.
she handicapped him, and then he died in the hospital because the bad guy killed
Yes,
him
yeah.
to shut him up.
But they suspect that she's the one that killed him.
Uh,
And then that one was really fun, I think. And then we had Crypto right after that, where we get
yeah, I love
uh
crypto.
yeah, Lois accidentally hits a dog, brings it back to the farm, and then they do get to keep the dog. They do rename him to Shelby, but Clark did want to name him Crypto, and
I
Lois was
was
like, no.
yeah, I love that they went as far as they did with it and then didn't force it. I like that. But I thought it
Yes,
was very interesting when he says to Lex that he wants to name it crypto. And he comes up with a really good excuse. Oh, because you're so cryptic? And it
yeah,
was, yeah, and I thought that was very Superman of Superman just come up with a stupid reason for it.
yeah. And nowadays it'd be like, because of cryptocurrency, I'm just a big fan of
Yeah, I'm really
Bitcoin.
into it, Bitcoin, baby.
How about Onyx? I know this is one you really liked, but Lex Luthor is
uh,
split into
yeah.
two, and we get evil Lex, and we get Alexander. And we get the classic line of the "I am the villain of the story." We get Lex saying that in this
Uh,
episode.
Onyx was so incredible. In fact, there's a I don't want to spoil it, but there's only one episode in the whole series I have above it so far. It,
Yeah,
it's so good.
Black
So good.
Kryptonite too. That's what that is.
Yeah, I love this episode. Michael Rosenbaum just a tour de force in this episode. He was insane in this episode, and you felt bad because Clark always believed in Lex, and Lex really you see that he wants to be the good guy. He wants to be the good Lex, but that bad Lex is so damn strong, and I love the science fictiony of it. Of I don't really know what would happen. The bad luck saying I don't really know what would happen if I killed you. So I'm going to put you in this mask, and it kind of reminded me of the Flash, where Zoom put Jay Garrick
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in the mask. I really enjoyed uh, this episode. I thought it was well written. I thought it was dramatic, and I just think the acting in this episode between Lex, Michael Rosenbaum, and Tom Wellings Clark was just fantastic. I could not, and I also like that it had the consequence of waking Lionel up to who he really was. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and it's such a painful consequence because Lionel is like, oh, he's got this growth. He just wants to be good, and then it's like, oh no,
Yeah.
Lex, you did it. You woke him up.
How about the episode Spirit where Chloe gets possessed by this dead person,
Oh, that
and they go
was
to the
that
prom,
was
and then
fun. That
yes,
was
it was,
fun.
and then they like, oh my god, when the ghost like
Genius.
the ghost possesses Clark or whatever, and Clark has to like let out this hysterical line. I forget what it was, but it was like something about like bitch, right? And then
Yeah.
Clark has
Well, I love how everything was just genius.
yes,
Genius.
yes,
You knew it was a stupid. You knew she was going to be a stupid person when she's like in the car, texting, writing things, got
yes.
post-it notes. Like I don't even know how her car drove straight that whole time. I was getting like almost sick because you know when you are driving and you
Mm-hmm.
read like you kind of get sick in the stomach. Like I don't know how she did that, but I thought the funniest one was when she was Martha. And she's like,
Yes.
and they're like, what's for dinner? And she's just hands him the ice cream. It's like, this is pretty good.
All right. How about this finale commencement where we
Oh,
get a
so
second
good.
meteor shower, and we also get that the caves will take him to the Arctic, and the crystal becomes
It's the
the
Fortress of
Fortress of Solitude.
Solitude.
Take you by surprise there?
It did. I didn't think we were going to get to all this stuff so quickly.
Yeah.
And I guess I should have realized it with the rocks and the symbols and the key. But there's only one complaint I have about this episode, and then I'm going to tell you everything I loved about it. Why is Clark lollygagging around and walking and dramatically walking to the cave, dramatically looking at everything, taking his time to get to the cave? It's just like you got this thing where you got minutes. You
Yeah.
literally got to do this in minutes, and you're like, no, I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna take my time. Like I just it blew it. I'm literally like go. I felt like watching John Harbaugh manage the clock. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. Like use your damn timeouts, man. But no, yeah. So, but I love this episode because it was so dramatic. Second meteor shower. You had a consequence that Clark knows is his fault. He is you had Martha and Jonathan knock it out because um, we had Jason Bourne over there get really excited. Um,
Hmm.
I love that nickname for him, Jason Bourne. I came up with it tonight, and I'm sticking with it.
Then the
Uh,
meteor hit,
yeah,
right?
yeah. And Lois helps Chloe with the like, oh, do you know who I am? You know who my dad is, and they get back into Smallville that way. That was
Hmm.
so much good. And Lana missing graduation because she murdered a guy, which just consequence free murder. Oh, oh, and then she's in the helicopter, and then Lex is like, everything I do for you is for your safety. But then she's like, Lex, we gotta go, or we're gonna get caught in it. Oh, but I have to tell her that she means so much to me before I let her be safe. Like
Yes.
it was so hysterical. Uh, Meanwhile, isn't the safest thing like the wine cellar in Luther Mansion or something? Like,
You
what
would
did that
think so, yeah.
like? That would make sense. Like, there was a lot of logic gaps in this incredible episode that might be one of my
Hmm.
favorites of the whole series. Like, they had so much working in this episode that I didn't care. But like, if this was like a movie, can you imagine how it would be like picked apart? Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
like it was just, yeah. There's a lot. Actually, the more I watch Smallville, the more I get annoyed with the tropes and the convenient writing. I'm having a bit of an issue with it, but I enjoy the show. I just have fun with it. This episode was awesome though. They know how to finish a season.
Yeah.
I literally I was so mad though because I finished the season and I was really needed to go to bed, but I wanted to watch season 5, and it was like this stinks.
Yeah, the second meteor shower is kind of what I was hinting at when you said in a text one time, like about how they always have the meteor
Uh,
freaks, and you're like, how can they keep them going? I was like, there's ways that they keep these things going, and it was that they have a whole second one
yeah, yeah.
that unearths more meteors. So
I love the show so damn much. It is on pace of being one of my favorite shows. Period. Like it's just so fun.
yeah, so next time we'll talk season 5. Why don't you share your
Top 10.
yeah, the top 10 you have there.
All right, so the pilot remains unscathed at
Mm-hmm.
number one. I don't think that can be beat. That was movie quality, like Superman. Um, Number two, Onyx. Um, we just talked about it. Three, season one, episode 9, Rogue. That's when you know, it was getting on him about his powers, and it felt like, oh God, is his secret going to get out? Ryan, episode 8 of season 2. Ryan's just incredible episode. Showed great powers from Clark, and it was heartfelt. Uh, Episode 5, Commencement. We just talked about that, the season finale.
Yeah.
Um, Episode 6, Vortex, the season 2 opener.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 7, Red, uh, season 2, episode 4. And then my eighth episode would be season 1, 16, Stray, another Ryan episode. Um, 9 would be season 4, episode 2, Gone. Kind of talked about that a little bit. And we talked about this one. The 10th one would be season 4, episode 12, Pariah.
Okay. Nice.
So four in the top 10 are season 4. I obviously had a good time with the season. I think this
Yeah.
was the most hooked I was. I think that I went through. I think each season had like spots where I was hooked, and
Right.
spots where
Right.
I was like, it was okay. Run of the mill episode, run of the mill episode. Oh, this is good. But this, I was just like hooked the whole time.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, um we got more coming. More DC characters coming. Season 4 you're introduced to Bart.
Hmm.
I already know in season 5 you were introduced to a certain character. You're going to be introduced to another character in a couple episodes. Um and then of course season 6 has a pretty big character in it. For a good chunk of the season. Um yeah, so that is our season 4 of Smallville. So
So
next time we'll
yeah,
talk season 5. What were you gonna say?
I'm on season 5, episode 13. So,
Yes.
uh, guys, it's coming. It's coming. We'll probably be a while on it, but it's coming.
So in 2 episodes you will meet another DC Comics character,
Yay.
hero. All right, so you can contact us at elseworldsdcfan. Share any of your thoughts on Smallville season 4 or any of the topics that we've been posting about recently. You can rate and review us here on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or like and subscribe to us here on the YouTube channel, or you can do both. Rate us on the podcast feed, then come over to YouTube, like and subscribe. It helps more people locate us. We've got a lot of stuff coming up here in the next few weeks, so make sure you're following that. And yeah, Have a great rest of your week. We'll catch you next time when we talk Smallville season 5 and probably do some sort of news update. We recorded this in advance. I'm sure there's more news coming out that we can talk
Yeah,
about
always
in the
is.
meantime. So have a great week. We'll catch you next time.